What's all over my car windows making life difficult? Ice. Welcome to Monkey Boy's Toys, and to the bum-friendly furniture item that is... the sofa! Thanks very much for joining me again. Here's Autobot Smokescreen to look at. So, I've recently been able to pick up an item that I've been hunting for a couple of years. You will have seen it in the thumbnail. But that's what we're going to take a quick look at today. So let's remove Smokescreen before we continue. Okay, so I've been after this fella for a while now, and it's been tricky to find him complete, in good condition, for a price I consider to be acceptable. But the day has finally arrived. So let's dive in and see what personal grail item I've been able to bring into the nest.
Monkey Boy, we spoke about this last week. That is not a grail item. We've established that it's a white whale item. Stop winding me up.
Sorry, Skeletor, I forgot.
No, you didn't. Open the toy.
Right, you go and stand over there, and you just watch from there, okay?
Yes, get on with it, Monkey Boy.
Right. Okay, so... Oh, it's in some tissue paper. Ta-da! Here we go. So here we have from Playmates, the TMNT Sergeant Bananas figure, released in 1991. We'll have a look at his accessories in a bit, but here he is in all his glory. So who is Sergeant Bananas? Well, he began life as an ordinary gorilla, but as characters tend to do in the TMNT universe, he one day became exposed to toxic mutagen, which caused him to gain intelligence and the power of speech, enabling him to become a militaristic jungle leader and an ally to the Ninja Turtles. Now, Sergeant Bananas did not appear in any of the cartoon series, and aside from a fairly obscure story published by Welsh Publishing, where he was referred to as Gorilla, he's also absent from any of the mainstream comic books. So let's have a look at the figure. He's in nice condition, as you can see. Pretty cool. Quite often the TMNT figures did suffer with paint rub in various places, but this guy's in really good condition, so I'm very happy with that. Sergeant Bananas is dressed in his sort of lime green and yellow uniform. Now, I believe the painted areas on his jacket and on his pants here, I believe they would have been done using a stencil rather than freehand. I think it would have been far too expensive to have them painted freehand, but I'm not entirely sure. Certainly there are some areas on the figure that have been painted by hand. But yes, it would have been very costly to have all these paint apps done individually, I think. But I mean, that would be a lot of deco hits. And it would make the figure sort of quite prohibitively expensive, I would imagine. There are some parts that have been hand painted though. I would imagine his face was done by hand, his snarling mouth and his eyebrows and eyes and stuff. But also worthy of note is this, if the camera will focus, this word gorilla that is painted on his pocket there. I don't know if I can get it any closer. There we go. Now, when you find examples of this guy on the secondary market, sometimes this word can be painted a little sloppily. This isn't the best example that I've seen, but it's certainly not the worst. Sometimes the letters are a bit smudged or different sizes. This one's a bit wobbly. It sort of goes up and down, as you can see, but overall it's not a bad paint app. Obviously done with a very thin brush. So I'm happy enough with that. I have found this guy in the past where he's been in reasonably good condition, but this word gorilla on his pocket has been painted so poorly that I really did, it put me off the figure. And I believe I've actually seen one where it has been spelled wrong. So there we go. That's worth checking out if you're going to try and pick this fella up on the secondary market. So yeah, we'll just go over the articulation quickly in case you're interested. His head does move, not a great deal because the hair sculpt tends to get in the way. But there we go. Yes, his head does move. His arms move at the shoulder. This one moves at the wrist. He's got a rotation at the wrist. His left arm also moves at the shoulder, but doesn't have any wrist articulation. Instead, The articulation is at the elbow here. He's got a nice watch on there. His legs do move a bit as well, not a great deal, but there is movement in the legs. There's no waist articulation, so this is just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 POA figure. If we just lift his arms up a bit, we can see there. Well, he's got some nice little shoes. His feet are coming out of his shoes somewhat. He's split this one open, a bit like the Wolfman, and this one's almost entirely gone. This is more of a glove now than or a fingerless glove than a shoe. Anyway, there's that. Sergeant Bananas does come with 3 accessories. Firstly, he comes with his lizard gun or his chameleon gun, whatever this is. That's quite a nice sculpt. And we've got the lizard on the back there, and we have the barrel of the gun has been sort of covered up with some bananas, it would seem. So that's quite a nice sculpt. The Ninja Turtles accessories I don't think were ever painted. I'm not aware of any that were. And sometimes the detail in the sculpt can get a bit lost. But yeah, a nice accessory nonetheless. It does fit in his left hand pretty well, but because there is no articulation in the wrist, he sort of has to hold it a bit like this. It will go into his other hand as well, and it is possible to get him holding both handles in his hands, but then of course he's just presenting the weapon sort of in a rather peculiar fashion before him. But there are options to display him. I quite like him like this, sort of gangster style, holding his gun up in the air like that. I think it's pretty cool. Let's just move his arms up again and we can have a look at his ammo belt, or weapons and ammo belt. It's in the form of a snake which wraps around him. Mine doesn't clip together very well. There are 2 pegs on the underside of the snake's head which help to clip it in place, but as you can see, the front peg on mine doesn't clip in particularly well, but that's okay. It holds onto the figure just fine. He's got some spare bullets. We have a what looks to be some sort of a pineapple grenade, perhaps. There's a knife in the sheath, and a banana. I think that's a banana flask of some description, and what looks to be perhaps a coconut grenade as well, or something like that. Some more bullets. So yeah, there's the 2 sort of weapon accessories that he comes with. Sergeant Bananas also comes with a little companion, and this is Larry the Lemur. Fun little character. Again, all one colour. He's not sculpted. Sorry, he's not painted at all. But a fun little character nonetheless. So this is Larry the Lemur. Larry does have some articulation. His hand, or his forearm, is articulated, and his tail as well moves. So there are some sort of display options for him, but aside from that, he's not otherwise articulated. I don't know if he stands particularly well. I haven't tried that. Perhaps I don't know if he can sort of rest on his shoulder. Perhaps you could blue tack him or something to Sergeant Bananas' shoulder. He's got a banana skin on his head. There we go. But yeah, I mean that's basically it. So this was a white whale item of mine. Do check out last week's video for that argument. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up and share it with any other ice you may know. Do leave me a comment if you wish, and perhaps consider subscribing to the channel if you've not already done so. At the time of recording, the channel is about to reach 900 subs, so a massive thanks to you all for the support. That's very kind of you. So until next week, Skeletor and I are going to make like shepherds and get the flock out of here. See ya!
Bye.
Meep meep.